Hey, up next to the Marmy Rock Show, I'm very excited to have Brett from California band Ignite with us on the line tonight. Brett, welcome to the show.
Great. Well, glad to be here. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, we're doing really good, man, and I've been listening most of the day to your album, A War Against You, and you got a big U.S. tour, well, not a big tour coming up. I'll let you tell folks about that, but let's get right into talking about the album a little bit. I know this looks to me like it was your fourth full-length release, so tell us a little bit about the record and where it was recorded and who you used to produce this time.
We recorded our previous record right here in Orange County, California, with producer Cameron Webb, who's done a ton of stuff like Motorhead and Pennywise and Strung Out and a bunch of bands kind of in our genre. And we went back to him again because we were really happy with how our last record, Our Darkest Days, turned out. So we jumped in the studio with him probably in the middle of 94 for 2014. It took almost about 8 to 10 months to record the record in pieces. As far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite sounding Ignite record that we've done. And, Cameron did a great job, and, he pushed us harder than he even did on the last record. So, we're all really happy with how the record turned out.
Now, the band, was involved in so many other things prior to this record. Did it bring a benefit to the record that you all were doing some other projects for a while? Has it changed the band in any way?
I think it did, and I think it was really cool for us to go out and work with other musicians, to tour with other musicians, because we'd been playing together for so long, up to the point where Zoli had the opportunity to go sing in Pennywise, and that gave us other guys in the band the chance to go play with other musicians as well. Our drummer Craig went and played with Strife. Our guitar player Brian was playing in Into Another. Me and our guitar player Nick started a band called Nations of Fire. So it was just really cool to go work, one, on the songwriting and side of things, to go write with different people and have a new perspective on songwriting that we could pull from when we came back and started working on this album. And then I just think playing with musicians, other than different musicians, it helps you grow as a musician. New opportunities, it just gives you a new outlook on music in general. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought when we got back in the studio, everybody kind of brought in a little different vibe and a little bit of a new element to our songwriting process.
So I mentioned you guys are about to go on a big tour. It does feature some U.S. dates. Tell folks a little bit about this tour. It's quite the undertaking.
Yeah, we got some dates coming. We just got back from Mexico 2 days ago. We did Mexico City and Guadalajara, and now we're going to go out to the East Coast and do a weekend run from Providence down to Philly. We play a big show in Sacramento with Korn and Tool and Slayer up there called the Aftershock Festival. And then we jump on a plane and go over to Europe, and we do 3 weeks in November over there, doing from Germany, Holland, Belgium, down to Hungary. So it's going to be a pretty extensive run. So, yeah, that's going to end our year, and then right now we're in the middle of pretty much putting together the touring schedule for next year, which is pretty exciting.
So I noticed, you guys really do have, in some ways almost a bigger international following than here in the U.S. almost. How has it been a band from Orange County, California, got to be such a prominent band on a global nature?
It was funny because when we started the band, our first opportunity was in Germany over in Europe. Small record company over there, got our demo, got our songs, wanted to sign us and put us on tour with the band Slapshot from Boston. They said, hey, do you guys want to do a CD and go on a 2-month tour? And we'd been a band for 8 months, and we were like, are you kidding me? We jumped at the opportunity. So we didn't realize quite how big Slapshot was in Europe at that time. And so we got there, we jumped on a bus with them, and we toured around for 2 months, and we played these massive shows. And, the first show we played over in Europe was with this festival in Sweden with Blur and Midnight Oil and all these rock bands, and there was all this big punk movement in Sweden going on at the time, so we got a lot of exposure to that, and it just, basically the whole tour was like that. So after, the end of that tour, we had kind of started to establish a pretty good-sized fan base in Europe, and we just kept following it up and, and going back and back to Europe every year 2 to 3 times, and our fan base just grew. There's so many places to play, from Portugal on the west all the way to Moscow, north up in Scandinavia down to Greece. I mean, there's so many countries you can go to over there, and the punk rock, metal, hardcore, aggressive music scene is just massive over there. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to have fans and, you know, grow your band. So it's been a cool ride, you know, watching the band grow in Europe, and then, you know, trying to follow up around the rest of the globe too, Australia, South America, Canada, Japan, Southeast Asia, you know, all these places we go, that we put our time in, and having the band grow there is really cool too.
You know, it's fascinating to watch you guys because you tour with quite the diverse crowd of bands. You know, you can see you guys playing with Suicidal Tendencies, but then you jump over with Seven Dust and then Motorhead. How is it, or what do you think it is about your music that allows you to play with so many different genres, really?
Yeah, it's been cool because we're not just like pigeonholed to just go out with like a Bad Religion or something like that. It's like, yeah, we go out with Hatebreed, you know, we do shows with, well, we did do shows with Motorhead, you know. I think a lot of it has to do with, the music's fast, it's aggressive, it gets pretty heavy at points, but I think the vocals is really what gives us the opportunity to, have it kind of cross over to different genres, because Zoe's got such a clean, powerful voice that you can hear his lyrics and hear him singing, and I think that resonates with a lot of people, and we get comparisons to a lot of times to it sounds like people say Zoe sounds like the singer from the Scorpions, or he sounds like a singer from this power metal band, and so I mean metal's a really big genre, you know, obviously a lot bigger than punk, and so I think that the fact that Zoe's voice connects with a lot of people, it gives us the opportunity to you know, have the fan base be pretty widespread.
Hey, this new album has a really kind of upbeat feel to it. You know, you hear a song like Alive, and it sounds really positive. Can you reflect a little bit on like the lyrics in your band and why, you know, you even gone dark? Really, they're really positive, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, compared especially to the last record, which was called Our Darkest Days. Personally, for us at that time, the band was going through a little bit of a darker period, personal things that had happened, where we were at as a band, and you know, you flash forward basically 10 years later, or 8 years when we started writing the record, and, you know, guys in the band have kids, we're in a different spot. It's just, it was a different mindset when we wrote this record. It was, we were just, the band itself was in a different place, so it just kind of really reflected in the lyrics and the music, you know. It was, it's a little bit more of a mature record, which to me makes sense with, you know, us getting older as musicians and songwriters, and so I mean, it just felt to us like a natural progression of representation of where the band was at the time we wrote the record compared to where the band was at the time we wrote the previous record.
So I always like to ask my interviews about my favorite tune on the record, and in this case, it's a little further down in the track list, but the tune "How Is This Progress" is one I was really taken with. So tell me a little bit about that tune and what it's about.
That's one of the songs we've been playing a lot live lately, and it's been going over really well. That song's basically, our singer Zoe wrote the lyrics to that song, and it touches basically on how people use the word progress to basically their advantage when they want to destroy something. And in this case particular, Zoe's from a city outside of Budapest, Hungary, and there's this area that has these old trees around this lake, and the local community wanted to cut this old trees and this old beautiful lake and really basically turn it into a strip mall. And so Zoe, being a resident of that town, kind of fought City Hall and all that stuff. And it was funny, at the meetings they were having, the people kept saying, "Why do you want to stop this progress?" And it was just annoying him that it was like, you know, you guys want to tear down this beautiful area just to put up this little strip mall, and you guys are calling, you know, you use the word progress to basically mask what you guys really want to do, which is just a cash grab. And so basically the lyrics, started off the idea from his experience with that scenario, and then of course it kind of touches on the bigger scope of the global problems with that same issue, and you know, that's basically what the song is about.
Yeah, in that same vein, when I was looking at your webpage, I noticed there's actually a tab for activism and a number of causes there. So tell the fans of your band, like, what are some of the causes in the world that you guys are kind of activists for?
I mean, we've been working with a lot of the same groups for 20 plus years now. I mean, Zoli, when we got together and started Ignite, he had been working with the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society way back then when nobody really knew who that was. And him and his brother, who his brother's a wildlife veterinarian, kind of got interested in environmental organizations like that, Sea Shepherds and Earth First, and groups like that, that's where their passion was, and that's what those two brothers believed in. So Zoli brought that in to the table for Ignite and said, hey, I want to push these organizations, through lyrics and through, putting information in our CD booklets about these groups. And we were like, yeah, absolutely. Seems like these are really like cool groups. And from there it's grown to like Doctors Without Borders. We've worked with them. Zoli has actually started his own nonprofit called Pelican Rescue Team here in California, where he goes out and does hands-on work trying to save the California brown pelicans. So, those are the things that we push. Everybody's different, but like Zoli bringing in the environmental side has been where Ignite stood through pushing those organizations, and it's been really cool. It's been really cool watching our fans connect with those organizations and put in donating time and money and effort and energy to kind of trying to make this world a little better place. So at the end of the day, if that's what we're remembered for, and then that's a pretty cool thing.
So, hey, one more thing before I let you go. I was looking through, like the cover of the album and the inside, and it's kind of interesting. Inside, there's an interesting variety of like cityscapes and pictures of different. They look like different cities to me. Is there a theme to that, or were they just random pictures, or is there actually like some kind of theme to the artwork inside that record?
Yeah, there's definitely a theme. We wanted to show a little bit of appreciation back to the places we go and play around the world, and from Brazil to Tokyo to Berlin to Los Angeles to New York City's in there. So these are the places where we thrive as a band, and we have these amazing fan bases that come out to our show year after year and buy our CDs, buy our merch, come to our shows, support us. So it was kind of for us a little homage to our fans and the areas around the world where we do well. So that's basically what the layout kind of stemmed from.
Well, the album is A War Against You. We are talking with Brett from Ignite. They're a great band out of Orange County, California, and they've got U.S. tour dates through October 23rd. And if you're listening to me over in Europe tonight, check them out on their website because they got a lot of dates over there as well. So, Brett, man, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight. I really had a great time talking to you.
Awesome, appreciate it, and thanks for reaching out.